What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Going the Distance podcast presented by ImmaculateSports.com. Twitter's at ImacSports.
Instagram is also at ImacSports.
TikTok, YouTube, Immaculate Sports. It's episode 291, and there's a lot of baseball to talk about. May 5th today. MLB The Show just came out with their Players of the Month, so we thought perfect timing, man.
Yeah, good. I guess we had a month check-in last week because the season started so early in March that we were able to do a month check-in. But Players of the Month kind of for March and April. Top 15 power rankings, something that we haven't done in a couple of weeks. And then just some normal miscellaneous stuff as well, too. So we'll get right into it. Let you go ahead and get started with the opener.
All right. I always love watching Game 7. We had 3 of them just in the first round of the NBA playoffs, and Saturday night, Philly-Boston was amazing. I know a lot of people were rooting for Boston to try to at least pull things together, considering they didn't have their best player for most of the season, but Jason Tatum was out, and Philly won, man. They went up huge, then Boston came back, and it just wasn't enough. Derek White and Jaylen Brown obviously exhausted at the end of this one. Maxey and Edgecombe played the entire game for Philly. Those guys are awesome. When Joel Embiid is playing 39 minutes too, you know you have a pretty good chance. Awesome for those guys. Unfortunately for them, looks like the Knicks will be winning the East this year. Not too difficult of a road for them if they do get past Philly, and they smoked them game 1. So Game 7, though, was awesome. My favorite of the Game 7s so far.
Yeah, definitely think Knicks fans are probably starting to get their tattoos ready for 2026 NBA champs, or at least Eastern Conference champs, with how that Eastern Conference looks right now. Best thing I saw, say Jonah Heim becoming an A. A's made a move yesterday to acquire Jonah Heim, or reacquire Jonah Heim after 6 years with the Rangers and the Braves a little bit too this past year or so. But yeah, the A's get Jonah Heim for cash considerations. Austin Wynns, who's been back up for about a year now at this point, has been terrible this year. And with Shea Langeliers on paternity leave, this seems like the first part where it'll be Heim and Wynns have a bit of an overlap. And then in a couple of days, it will seem like Wynns would be the guy to get DFA'd. And Jonah Heim takes over the full-time backup catcher role. Makes a lot of sense for the A's. Way better hitter than Wynns, and a better catcher as well, too. He's been one of the better framers in the last 5 years as a catcher, and Shea Langeliers is really bad at framing. So hopefully, the A's have some intuition here and, maybe have Heim help them in some way. I don't know if there's certain drills or whatever it may be. But something that they could definitely coordinate on and hopefully get Shea a little bit better at, because that's probably the worst part of his game, and it's Jonah Heim's perhaps best part of his game. So excited to have Heim back in the locker room. Last time he was on the team, the A's won the division. So let's make it 2 for 2, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's probably the best thing I saw. It wasn't anything crazy. A's went 3-3 in the week. Rough series against Cleveland. Now they're playing against Philly, against Christopher Sanchez. Well, that's probably not going to end up well. So yeah, Jonah Heim is an A, and that's the best thing I saw. Moving into player, pitcher, and rookie of the week, as we always do. The player of the week, Skyler, is who?
This was a tough one for me. This was the one I kept going back and forth on, but I'm going to go with Cody Bellinger this week. He had 450, 4 doubles, 2 homers, and a triple. 8 RBIs this week. Bellinger, during a flow state, is like one of the most dangerous hitters in baseball. And during this time, the Yankees have won 8 out of 10.
I went Chase Delauder because he hurt me this weekend. He went 10 for 14 on the week, a 7.14 average. Really his first good week in the MLB since that first week of the season where he hit about 5 homers. He hits his 6th homer of the year here, has 5 RBIs, 4 walks, only 1 strikeout. Got on base 14 times to get an out only 4 times. That's tough. And a lot of that was against the A's. So Chase Delauder player of the week for me because of the pain that he inflicted on me this past weekend. Pitcher of the week.
A lot of domination on the mound once again this week. Honorable mention to Chris Sale, Davis Martin, who destroyed me in fantasy baseball last night because I had Soriano going against him. Absolutely brutal, man. Um, and all of the rookies that we're going to mention in a minute. But I'm going Emerson Hancock. He strikes out 14 Royals in 7 innings. Unfortunately, they choke in extra innings. But the Seattle fans were saying it was like a big unit impression here. Strike out a ton of guys, and then they blow the game at the end. So at least he's still pitching extremely well.
Yeah, Emerson Hancock, pitcher of the week as well for me too. Off to a really good start. Like you said, all kind of culminated in this past outing. 14 Ks against the Royals, only 1 earned run in 7 innings pitched. Obviously, the Mariners do end up losing that game, which I'm okay with. But Emerson Hancock had the sweeper going that game, and he was looking really good. So, pitcher of the week for the Hancock. Rookie of the week, a lot of good rookies.
Yeah, ridiculous week for rookie pitchers. Peyton Tolley already looking like the great next Boston lefty coming out of that system. Ty Madden back from the dead, 5 shutout I saw. But how about Trevor McDonald last night out in San Francisco against the Padres? He goes 7 innings. He gives up 2 hits, strikes out 8. His first appearance of the season. Outside of a Jackson Merrill solo shot in the first, he was unstoppable, and I was not expecting that.
I did just keep it chase to ladder for me here. Kazuma Okamoto, I think, had a really good week as well, too. Off to a really good start in May. I think he already has 4 homers this month. So for my Rookie of the Year rankings preseason, go Kazuma. But chase to ladder, Rookie of the Week for me, hit 714. So moving on to the power rankings. Before we get into the top 15, there's some teams that are no longer in the top 15 or just outside of it. Do you want to mention those teams, or what do you got there?
Yeah, I have 3 teams that I'm going to drop out. Texas, the Mets, of course, and Philly was close. I'm not going to give up on them yet, but the manager was fired, and there was a very bad stretch before Mattingly took over, and they won back-to-back series. So Philly just misses. They're maybe 16 or 17.
I have 6 teams that are off the list from last time. The first is the Mets. They were at 7 last time. They still had a bad couple of weeks. Played well this past week, I'd say, but still not doing enough for me. So they fall out. The Detroit Tigers I dropped. They were at 8. It hasn't really been bad baseball, but they did just lose their perennial Cy Young. Yeah, perennial Cy Young, that's a thing. He's more than just, their best pitcher. He's their automatic win every 5 days, and that's gone now. And the AL Central is really competitive this year, it looks like. And without Tariq Skubal, it's going to be very tough for the Detroit Tigers. Number 11, I also had Toronto Blue Jays. They fall out of my list as well, too, for now. I assume they'll be back, but just not quite yet. The Texas Rangers fall off as well, too. They were at 13. 16 and 18 right now. Offense really still hasn't got going, so I left them off. The Baltimore Orioles, losers of 5 in a row. They were at 14 last time. They moved just off the list at 14, or off the list from 14 to probably like 18 or 19. And then the Minnesota Twins have kind of came back to life as well, too. They're at 15 last time for me. They're at 15 and 20 in real life right now, so off the list now as well, too. Probably for the rest of the season as well, too, to be honest with you. But moving on to number 15, who do you got?
All right, let's start it off with those Baltimore Orioles you just mentioned. I'm dropping them all the way from 6, but keeping them alive because when you look at a larger sample size, I don't think it's as bad as it seems. 11 and 14 over the last 3 weeks, but they have lost 5 in a row. They even sit behind Toronto now, who isn't on my list either yet. But I do think there's a chance if they get healthy, they could become a team that does like what Tampa Bay is doing right now, but they have to stop losing 10-3 every night first.
Number 15, I did put the Phillies in there. 7 and 3 over the last 10. I'm not saying Rob Thompson was the reason why they, are figuring it out now that he's gone, but sometimes that's just how baseball is. Somebody out of there just clears things up. They're still 15 and 20, so the record isn't great, but there's a couple teams here that I put on the list that are playing good enough baseball recently that I think they will be on this list solidified for sure the next time that we do this in a couple of weeks. And I think the Phillies are that team for me. Number 14.
For me, that team was actually the Detroit Tigers. 3 weeks ago when we last did this, I took them off, but they immediately started playing better. And unfortunately for them, Terry Scoople's going to be out for a while. Absolutely brutal. But hey, at least they're still tied for first place. We've seen crazier things happen in the AL playoff race, especially this season so far. Most of it is pretty ugly. So I'm going to give them a shot. Similar to Baltimore, they've been playing well enough over a long period of time. I won't kill them yet.
Number 14, unranked team moving up. The Kansas City Royals, off to a terrible start to the season. They've now won 8 of the last 10, with both those losses being in there, being against the A's, which is kind of cool. Winners of 4 in a row. They just swept the Seattle Mariners in Seattle. The offense is starting to get going. The pitching starting to pitch better in the back end of the bullpen. And when those things work, usually you win games, and the Kansas City Royals have been doing that recently, 16-19 right now, and I expect them to be a team that I trust in 2 weeks from now when we do our rankings again. Number 13.
At 13, I have Seattle. I'm going to drop them down one spot. And there's definitely a lot of eye tests with keeping Seattle up here. I assume most people still have Seattle in their top 15 too, because they have a scary rotation, a ton of young guys. Feels like they're always coming back in the ninth. It's just not enough to move them up yet. They've actually hit more homers than the Dodgers over the last month. So I guess it could be worse.
Number 13 for me is also the Seattle Mariners. They moved down 8 spots for me. Maybe I should have the Royals ahead of them because they just swept them, but I don't know. Miami, Bama situation or whatever from the college football playoff from last year. Notre Dame, that's who it was. But they are ahead of the Royals right now for me. Moved down 8 spots, but I don't think it's been a terrible 2-week stretch. I think this is just them kind of recalibrated into the right spot after a couple of weeks. For now, I expect this team to jump back up again. But the bullpen hasn't been as good as what we've expected. Lineup starting to finally get hot, which is good for them. And the rotation, aside from Luis Castillo, has been really, really good so far. Number 12.
All right, 12. How about the A's? Moving up 3 spots. And I cannot lie, and I'm sure you can relate to this too. I'm starting to get a little worried about the A's. I feel like 3 nights every week they just can't get any outs, and they got to score 10 runs if they want to win. But the difference here is that they're not the only AL teams that are dealing with this. And they're constantly battling back, too, with a very powerful lineup. And despite the lack of pitching, only Tampa and the Yankees have been better than the A's over the last month.
I also have the A's at number 12. They move them up from unranked for me, so this is the first time they've been on the rankings. Obviously leading the AL West right now. And I don't want to jinx this, but I do feel kind of the opposite of you.
Okay.
Last year, I felt very much, because they were a similar spot to the first 30 games of the season where it's like, well, A's might actually do something this year. But it felt like every single game last year to win was so tough. And yeah, it is kind of tough as well this year too. But the A's lineup is better than last year. And the pitching, I don't know if I consider it better, but it feels more comfortable. It feels like there's more strikes being thrown. And I feel like the A's have more control in the game that they're playing. It's not 8 runs in the first inning like it was last year to start off the season in West Sac. Now it's 2, and then they score 3 in the bottom half of the first inning, and it's all good again. So there is some crazy games, no doubt about that, but I feel a lot better with the A's right now, and I feel a lot more confident, and I feel very okay because there's help on the way with the A's as well too, with guys like Gage Jump and Wayne Lynn and Jeremy Arnold probably coming around, at least 2 or 3 of them by the end of the year. Number 11.
At 11, I got the Cleveland Guardians. I'm going to drop them down a couple spots from 7. The main problem with these guys is the lineup again, but they did hit the A's pretty hard last week, and not a lot of series wins recently, so I felt like I do need to move them down a little, but they are sitting right at 500 still, good enough to keep them in the hunt, and got to keep them above the A's because we just could not get those guys out.
Yeah, I do have the Cleveland Guardians at 11 as well, too. They moved down 1 spot for me into this spot. It is a really bad matchup for the A's, and I'm not trying to hit too much on the A's while I'm talking about the Guardians, but that's the type of lineup that hurts the A's, where it's a don't strike out, put the ball in play type thing. But regardless, Guardians maybe starting to hit. Maybe the A's series is a good sign for them. Obviously, they lose yesterday to the Royals, but they feel very Guardian-like, and that's a good thing. That usually means that they'll stick around in this, 8 to 12 spot for the remainder of the year, and I don't think anybody would really be shocked about that. Number 10.
Number 10, a team that I do like watching, the Cincinnati Reds, moving up from 14. I think we know what the Reds are now with Terry Francona. It's kind of similar to what we just said about Cleveland, too, that this may be their peak, but I still like them. They just had 4 losses in a row, some issues in the back end of the rotation. But what can I say? They're exciting to watch. They hit a ton of homers, and they strike a lot of guys out.
My biggest surprise of the year so far, and maybe I'm just not buying into them completely because I assume you might have them higher than me, is the St. Louis Cardinals. They were unranked for me last time. They're hitting like crazy, whether it's Weatherholt, Walker, Herrera, it doesn't matter. They hit. The pitching isn't great, but they're scoring enough runs right now that it doesn't matter. They just won a game against the Brewers last night that really felt like, okay, maybe the Cardinals are just this magical team this year. They had a good series against the Dodgers this past weekend as well, too. They swept the Pirates in a 4-game series last week as well. They're playing good ball right now. Things are going right. The ball's bouncing the right way. And I guess I'm just surprised. I thought they'd lose 100 games this year, to be honest with you. Number 9.
Number 9, I got their rivals, the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm going to drop them down 1 spot. The NL Central is an absolute war this season. And like we'll mention, up until it doesn't happen anymore, the AL kind of sucks. So the rankings, for me at least, are favoring this style of baseball right now. Pittsburgh just had a nice sweep over the Reds, series wins over Milwaukee and Tampa Bay. So I'm going to keep them in the same spot, just dropping down 1.
Number 9 for me, moving up 3 spots, is where I have the Pittsburgh Pirates. They feel very correct and ethical right now as far as the baseball team goes. They're hitting. They play good defense. They pitch well. They throw strikes in the back end of the bullpen as well, too. They're getting good starts from their starters, and that's really – I know I just listed a lot of things that make up good baseball teams, but that's exactly what you need to be a good baseball team, and they're doing that right now. The record, maybe not as good as what we're seeing from the Cardinals, or I guess technically even the Reds, a game better than them, but Pirates are playing well. I think they'll stick this year more than what I think the Cardinals will, and that's why, despite the sweep, I have the Pirates ahead of them. Number 8.
I may regret this, but at number 8, I have the Milwaukee Brewers, -4. They did not have a great last 2 weeks, but I still like these guys too because they've kept their identity. They've still got a +42 run differential, even though they are slumping right now. And they do get their get back against Washington. The problem is it's the Nationals. They didn't do well against the other Central teams this year, so I gave them the -4. On the bright side, Jackson Chourio is back now.
Number 8, Cincinnati Reds. Maybe I'm just all mixed up here because the Pirates swept the Reds, and I have the Reds above the Pirates, and the Cardinals swept the Pirates, and the Cardinals are below the Pirates for me. But regardless, that's just how I'm thinking right now. I don't mind this Reds team. I know they just got swept. I think the lineup will continue to, I don't know, be good, but they have a couple of bats that I do really trust in that lineup, and Sal Stewart and EDLC, and I think Friedel will come along, and maybe Matt McClain does as well too. Gino Suarez, once he's healthy, he's a guy that you can trust on the rotation. Dealing with injuries, and Andrew Abbott's been really bad, but I think that they are a pretty firm squad. I know the run differential isn't great, but that's probably because they allowed 17 runs to the Pirates on Saturday or Sunday, whatever it was, but I don't mind the Reds. I think they're good. They made the playoffs last year, so they have a little bit more of that, I guess, trust in this department. So they're at 8 for me. Number 7.
7 is where I finally have those Cardinals, not ranked last time, of course. And I try not to jump this much, usually on the power rankings so quickly, but we haven't done them in 3 weeks, and a lot has happened for St. Louis during that time, including a 16-9 record series win over the Dodgers, sweep over the Pirates. So I did it. I put St. Louis at 7, but keep in mind all these Central teams are right next to each other.
Number 7, highest unranked jump. I don't think of the year because I think I had somebody higher in the past, but of this episode for sure. The Tampa Bay Rays, 22-12 in the 7th spot. They are, when you think Rays and you think, analytical stuff like that, where, they're going to be doing what, the books say for them to do or the computer says for them to do. Usually nowadays that's like okay with the whiff. You hit the ball hard, you hit homers, you hit the ball in the air. Tampa Bay is the exact opposite of it. They steal bases, they're fast, they don't swing and miss. They put the ball on the ground. It's very un-Tampa Bay-like, but it's fine because it's working, and it's very Milwaukee Brewer-like, I'd say, when it comes down to it. They're pitching well. Obviously, the arm barn back there is just, this guy, he's throwing 98. Okay, that's Tampa Bay for you. Like, it just turns nobodies into everybody. Tampa Bay number 7 for me. They're just playing good ball. I think they will come down to earth. This is not like 2020 Tampa Bay where they won a bunch of games. It's not like that. But they could be a playoff team. It could happen. Number 6.
Number 6, I got the San Diego Padres -1 because the lineup just doesn't really move the needle for me. So they are going to go down 1. But I already had them up here in the top 10 too before they went 16-9 this month. So I'm not going to kill them for that. They just got to get to Mason Miller, and there's always a chance. Shout out Ramon Laureano. He still got it. And just got to win those one-run games, man.
The Milwaukee Brewers, number 6 for me. I like the Brewers. I've said this in the past. Bad week doesn't really take me away from them. I know they're 18-16, and I, pretty much was saying the 18-16 teams about 10 spots ago at this point. But I like the Brewers. I like what they do. I think they'll be fine long term. I still wouldn't be shocked if they win the division, but I also wouldn't be shocked if the Cubs run away with it. Number 5.
All right, number 5 is where I got Tampa Bay. Unranked, tied for the biggest jump for me. I had San Diego at the 5 spot last time after thinking they were probably a 500 team. And wow, man, what a stretch for Tampa Bay. 9 wins in 10 games. The pitching factory back reviving careers. And they got to be happy to be back at the Trop, too. 12-4 home record this season. And I just think with this team, hey, Milwaukee just did this. Same exact thing. Why not Tampa? They've done it before.
Number 5, up 1 spot, the San Diego Padres. You told me that the San Diego Padres offense wouldn't be dead last in baseball and they're winning games like this, I'd say, okay, Fernando Tatis is back. He's having an MVP type season. No, you can't fucking hit. I don't know what it is. Or actually, I know exactly what it is. He just looks so uncomfortable in the box and he's just not fluid at all. We know he makes a ton of adjustments. I assume he'll be fine in the long term, but for them to be this good and him be terrible is shocking to me. Good thing for them, though, is that pretty much everything else has been fine. The pitching's been good. They've gotten some good starts from guys that you wouldn't have expect. Randy Vasquez has been great this year. Padres are playing well, and they're doing it in a way that I did not expect them to do it. So on to number 4.
Number 4, the Chicago Cubbies. Finally, someone in the NL Central starts to break away from the rest of the pack. They go up from 11 for me. And I think they do have to go above Milwaukee and San Diego after the recent matchups. The Cubbies are sitting nice, 3rd best record in baseball. Imanaga and Edward Cabrera locked back in, leaving the rest of the staff not to worry about anything, just eating up innings because the offense is on a different level. 19-6 since we last did our rankings. Only Atlanta surpasses them on offense right now.
Yeah. Cubs are number 4 for me as well, too. They move up 5 spots. Daniel Palencia is back in the bullpen, which is huge because that means Riley Martin does not have to close games for them. If you're asking yourself who Riley Martin is, that's okay because a lot of people were doing that as well, too, over the past couple of weeks. They just hit like crazy. So many different people. Mo Baller, Ian Happ, Nico Horner, Seiya Suzuki, Dansby Swanson's having a good year. 1 through 9, man, they hit and it's fun to watch. They're a good team to play, or a good team to watch play. And I think they could be a team that sticks up here for the majority of the season because they really do it in all three phases of the hitting, the starters, and the back end of the bullpen as well, too. Number 3.
The Yankees will stay at the 3 spot for me. 8-2 in their last 10. Their offense is on fire right now, too. 8 blowout wins, I counted, over the last 2 weeks. They're going to be just fine.
Number 3, the Los Angeles Dodgers. I moved down 2 spots to number 3. It really hasn't been much of their doing. I think there's just a couple of teams that are just scorching hot right now that I needed to shout out. Dodgers are still good. They're dealing with some injuries. We know that. Edwin Diaz now out for a good part of the year. Justin Robleski, I mean, how about him? He's been kind of a bit of a shocker, but Shohei, I guess, on hitting side has been slow. Not really, but it's Shohei slow. The rest of the lineup, guys like Kyle Tucker, haven't been too great yet. They'll be fine. They're still number 3 right now, and I guess that's a lot lower than where the Dodgers usually are in my rankings, but there's no worry here. I'm just saying there's a couple of teams that are playing really good baseball, and I think as of right now could beat the Dodgers in a 3-game series if it came down to it. Number 2.
Yeah, it's just not been the best couple of weeks for the Dodgers. They are not the number 1 team because the offense has really slowed down, including Shohei Ohtani. 14-11 stretch. It could be worse, I guess, for a team that has just not been playing good baseball. So I'll only drop him out of the 1 spot for, I guess, more mental than actually numbers, right? They're probably like the 8th best team when it comes to their lineup right now, but everybody knows it's going to come around eventually.
Number 2, the Atlanta Braves. They don't move at all for me. They're 25-11. They just hit the cover off the ball, man. Everybody but Austin Riley can hit. I don't know what it is about Austin Riley and why he's sucking, but Michael Harris, dog. Drake Baldwin, ridiculous. Matt Olson going crazy. Like Ozzie Albies hitting a ton of homers. The pitching side, I think you could have been worrisome with them, even with all these runs. Because you're like, hey, Spencer Strider's hurt. Rafael Iglesias is hurt. There isn't many arms back there in the bullpen besides Suarez. There isn't a ton of starters besides Chris Sale. Strider's back. Iglesias is back. All is well in Atlanta, except for the Hawks in Game 7. Number 1 is who?
I'm going Atlanta here at the top, moving up just 1 spot, because this is the first time in a while I've actually really believed that the Dodgers were not playing like the number 1 team. Atlanta, over the last 25 games, the best record, 19-6 in baseball. They got the most hits, the most home runs, the most runs scored, everything offensive. I like that you mentioned Michael Harris. He's got real dad strength now after coming off of the paternity leave. I think he had 4 homers in a 9-game stretch or something. So shout out to Atlanta.
Number 1, the New York Yankees. They move up 2 spots for me. They've been playing just ridiculous baseball right now. It's like every facet, they're really good. Maybe the bullpen, there's a couple of arms that you're not so serious about, but they'll be fine in the long term. You know that they'll make moves at the deadline to fix that if need be. But they have multiple MVP candidates on the offensive side, Aaron Judge, Ben Rice. And they have multiple Cy Young candidates in Max Fried and Cam Schlittler. And when there's 2 out of the 5 guys that you got in your rotation that are going just that good, you'd be okay with the rest of the 3 out of the 5 guys not being that good. But when Will Warren and Ryan Weathers have been pitching the way that they have, you're okay. One of the Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt guys will come back soon as well too. I know Omer Rodriguez is the 5th guy right now, but I think the Yankees might be the best team in baseball. And I think that might be better than the Dodgers when it's all said and done in the regular season. I don't know about the postseason, but the Yankees are playing good. I think they're my best team in baseball right now. Moving on to first time that we've ever done this, our April team of the month. Maybe it turns into weekly or not weekly, monthly team of the month and then also a team of the year to that point. I don't know. But at this point, it serves as both March, April team of the month / year. We'll start off with the backstop. Who is your catcher in the March, April months?
There's only one catcher still one dotting his OPS. So I'm sorry, Drake Baldwin, but this is going to the hometown hero, Shea Bangaliers. 10 homers, 336 average, and ice in his veins this season. Not to mention, he's about to come back with that dad strength I was just talking about, hit even more homers while still leading catchers in WAR.
Yeah. Liam Hicks, Dylan Dingler, Drake Baldwin, phenomenal seasons, but none of them have been as good as Shea Langoliers. Been one of the best players in baseball, if not the best player in baseball over the last 5 months of play. Hitting the cover off the ball, destroying both sides, lefties and righties. And he is very fast as well, too, which is fun. So Shea Langoliers, can't say enough about him. Congrats on the kid, Shea. So on to first base.
Yeah, first base is loaded once again this year, which is great. But there is one guy still really left in the MVP conversation. I think that's Ben Rice of the Yankees. 1.2 OPS, 12 homers, which is less than Murakami's 14, but Rice is still getting on base 45% of the time, which is amazing.
Shout out Munetaka Murakami. Shout out Sal Stewart. Shout out Matt Olson, of course. But Ben Rice is still in the 200s for WRC plus, and he's hitting better than Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge is hitting well this year. 10 homers, 23 RBIs in March and April, 1.64, 17.2% walk rate. He's doing everything that you want as a hitter. And maybe it could be that, Aaron Judge broke out late. Ben Rice has broken out late as well, too. Maybe I don't know about – it's just he can't be Judge, but you know what I'm saying here. Like, he's really good, and maybe he is that late 20s breakout player that is an all-star for 5 years in a row because he's playing like it. On to second base.
You mentioned him last week, and I don't disagree. Nico Horner is probably the most valuable guy who plays second base, and he's always on base. 8 doubles, 4 homers, 7 for 7 on steals. Just old reliable takes the spot.
This is where you get some real ball players. Bryce Terang,
yep.
Nico Horner. But I went with J.J. Weatherholt because he's been so good. I know he's played a ton of different positions. At second base right now, through the season, he has all games played at second base. I was thinking McGonigal for some reason. But he's hitting, and he's hitting better than I expected him to do at his peak, and he's doing it in his rookie season. So J.J. Weatherholt, phenomenal first month in the show. Maybe he's the reason why the Cardinals are doing so good.
Yeah.
Third base.
Everybody I talked to about the Dodgers before this season said they were convinced Max Muncy had no more gas in the tank, but he's been destroying baseballs. By far the best hitter on the Dodgers, at least over the last 3 or 4 weeks. 9 homers, 19 walks, nearly 400 on base percentage. It has been the most dangerous at third base, in my opinion.
Max Muncy's been great. The power has been legitimate. But I did go with the guy who only has 16 games played at third base, Kevin McGonigal. This is where I have him. 1.6 WAR is the highest. More walks than strikeouts. He's J.J. Weatherholt, but better. I guess a little bit less power, so to speak. But he's playing really well. Defensively, maybe not. Maybe he's a third baseman long term. That's why I have him here at third base instead of shortstop. But McGonigal is really good. He's a very fun player to watch, and I think he's going to be around for a long, long time. Shortstop.
Yeah, I like McGonigal. I like Otto Lopez, but for me, this was between Ellie and Abrams. And I will disagree with MLB The Show and go with CJ Abrams here. I think he's just been the more balanced player. I like that out of my shortstop personally. He's got incredibly similar numbers to him with half of the strikeouts.
CJ Abrams been good. Otto Lopez has been really good. Bobby Witt's been really good. Yeah. I did go EDLC, though. He's just doing stuff better than what I expected him to do this year. And I know the strikeouts are always a thing with him. That's never going to go away. but he's been so much more productive outside of those strikeouts this year. And he's striking out less as well, too. He's more productive from the right side of the plate as well, which is turning up his pretty much everything when it comes to hitting. He's been really good. It's been fun to watch. And he, kind of like what I just said with J.J. Weather, well, maybe he's the reason why the Reds have been so good to start off the season. On to left field, which I think is probably the worst position out of all these that we have on here.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And that's why I went Cody Bellinger. Like I was saying earlier with the players of the week, when this guy is hot, he's one of the purest hitters in baseball. 5 homers, 8 doubles this year. And what is, like you said, it is a weak left fielder group. Usually there's at least 10 guys who maybe not complete players, but are hitting the cover off the ball. There's only a couple guys I considered, like Riley Green, for this spot.
The guy I chose has 14 games in left, 10 in right, 7 in center, 3 at DH. So he's been all over the place, but I think he's been the best left fielder in my eyes. I went Mickey Moniak, former first overall #1 pick. Been hitting really good in Coors. I know a lot of people do that, but WRC Plus says he's not just, Coors good. He's been really good in real life as well, too. So Mickey Moniak. Hit a ton of homers, a lot of power, still not walking at all, but that's okay because he's hitting the crap off the ball. On to center field.
Michael Harris and Andy Pages have been on an absolute tear on a completely different level, but there is also one guy who's back, Mike Trout. 10 homers and 34 walks this season. Talk about one of the purest hitters in baseball. This guy's still a machine. And maybe it's a more boring list than I intended to put together here, but I feel like I can't leave off Mike Trout because he's the best center fielder in baseball still.
Oneil Cruz, Michael Harris, Andy Pages are all not Mike Trout. He's back. It's good to say, maybe it's Kurt Suzuki just freeing him up and letting him go play center field and not having the bubble wrap on him at all, just letting him go play baseball. And Mike Trout's been playing some damn baseball. He's been the best center fielder in baseball. It feels like we're back in 2015. Welcome back, Big Fish. On to right field.
Jordan Walker put up some video game numbers, but Aaron Judge was still better than him somehow. 14 homers, tied for the lead with Murakami. And despite starting off very slow, he's still walking enough and hitting for contact enough to be a problem at all times. Like when we're watching Shohei Ohtani, at least over the last 2 weeks, it hasn't felt the same. Felt like maybe he's looking for a walk. Aaron Judge, also, just like Mike Trout, still an absolute machine and makes the team.
Jordan Walker, James Wood, Corbin Carroll, even Brandon Nimmo, really good starts this season. But yeah, Aaron Judge is the guy here, and I don't think it's really close. He's running away with it now as well, too. He already has 2 homers in May. He's inevitable, man. The slow start was just erased in like the span of a week and a half. He's been so good. He is the best hitter in baseball, I guess, besides Ben Rice. And it's been that way for a while now. On to DH.
This is going to be easily Yordan Alvarez, like a more balanced Aaron Judge season so far. Doesn't strike out, 667 slugging. Animal.
Barry Bonds-esque Yordan Alvarez so far to start off the season. Kyle Schwarber's been good as well, too. Yandy Diaz, Ivan Herrera, Carlos Cortez, I guess you can mention as well. But Yordan has been literally Barry Bonds to start off the year. I guess not walk as much as Barry. Barry would pull off like a 30% walk. But walking way more than he strikes out, and he has a ton of homers and he hits the ball so hard. It just doesn't make sense what he's doing. It's like, I want to say he comes down to earth, but I just don't. He could do it. I've been scared of this guy ever since he came up to the big leagues in 2020, 2019. Just get him away from me as far as possible. On to the starting pitchers. We'll go all 3 together here. Yeah, give me your 3 starting pitchers.
Okay. We'll start off with Jose Soriano of the Angels, 5-2, sub 2 ERA. Can't beat the White Sox for some reason, but other than that, literally unhittable in his other five starts. Also, Cam Schlittler of the Yankees. I chose him over Max Fried. Now probably has surpassed a ton of the guys we had on the Cy Young rankings because of all the injuries. 1.5 ERA, only one loss compared to Soriano, single digit walks. And I'll close it out with a really tough one, but I wanted a National League representative. So I have The Miz. The Miz makes it with his MLB leading 59 Ks. And he's going to be a little more wild than your average ace, but the amount of power he has is a nice trade off. So I included him.
Yeah, SP3, I went Jose Soriano, 0.84 ERA in the month of March and April, months of March and April. 42 innings pitched, a lot of strikeouts, really not giving up anything. 100% left on base rate during that time. So all of the runs that he had given up at that time were through homers. SP2, I put Shohei. Only 5 starts, but a 0.6 ERA. We'll get you there. He's been so good pitching again tonight, I believe, against the Astros. And then number 1, I put Cam Schlittler, only pitcher with a 2 WAR through April. Not walking anybody, striking everybody out that he faces. 1.51 ERA. He's not getting up homers either. He's a dominant at bat. And it's when it's like that and it's a guy that you know is throwing strikes, it becomes so impossible for hitters because you're just never going to be ahead into a good spot. And Cam Schlittler's just doing it so consistently. So he's my SP1 through April. And then our 2 relievers are who?
We'll start off with Mason Miller. 32 Ks in 16 innings is just ridiculous. And a bunt single and some other weird stuff, wild pitch, away from being in some serious conversation about all-time reliever seasons. And my other guy, how about Louis Varland? Varland was an elite setup guy to start the season, just not giving up any hits. And after you mentioned to me a couple weeks ago, like, hey, you should watch this guy a little closer. Still at a 0.53 ERA. He even adds a couple more saves since we had that conversation 3 weeks ago or so. So got him on the list too here.
Yeah, I have the same 2 guys. I do want to shout out Antonio Senzatella, though, because he's somehow just been really good for the Colorado Rockies, really out of nowhere. But yeah, RP2 for me, I put Louis Varland. Been really good. Took over the closer job in Toronto, striking everybody out. He's always just been a tough at-bat as well, too. And then number 1, the toughest at-bat there is in baseball, Mason Miller. Still held a negative FIP in April, which is really cool. It's been, I guess, slightly more hittable in May. It doesn't really matter, though. He's still tough to touch and hasn't blown a save yet this season. Mason Miller, RP1. Which takes us to, I guess, technically second half stuff, NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Well, we're out of the first round, on to the second round. Just going to give a quick update about what's going on because we got the Elite 8 now left in the NBA. We'll start in the West. How about Minnesota winning game 1 against San Antonio? They completely shut down Wembanyama on offense. Ridiculous defense for Minnesota. And Edwards playing on one leg. That's amazing, man. So I'm really interested to see what happens here, even though San Antonio is still going to be a 10-point favorite every game. The other West game kicks off tonight, the Thunder and the Lakers. This all depends on if Luka Doncic is going to try to come back and play in this one. I just don't think there's enough in the tank for LeBron against OKC because they can throw every sort of matchup you can think of at LeBron defensively. And he's getting up there in age, if you didn't know. Eastern Conference, the New York Knicks demolished Philly last night. Not even close. Brunson is on one right now, 30 points in every playoff game. I feel like this is a very good matchup for them, even though I like watching Philly. And then right now is game 1 of the other game. The Pistons are up 10 early in the second half on Cleveland. Again, Cleveland should not have went to 7 games with Toronto. In my opinion, Toronto was not on their level. They were playing down to them. I feel like Detroit, even though they've been chokers recently, went to 7 games against the 8 seed Orlando. They're still shutting down Cleveland so far. So I guess if I had to make a guess right now, still the winner of OKC San Antonio would be my pick for the finals. But I really like New York coming out of the East now that Boston's gone, of course.
Yeah, it feels New York OKC. Feels like that could happen.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, we actually just found out the NHL draft lottery happened, and the Sharks ended up with the second pick. That's very good for the Bay Area sports fans. Awesome. But the NBA will be having their lottery on Sunday. This is going to be a super stacked draft class, and the top 5 goes Wizards, Pacers, Nets, Jazz, Sacramento. So any of those could end up. Obviously, we know with the NBA lottery, crazy stuff happens all the time. So maybe even the Warriors have a chance. But I'm excited for that because the top 4 of this draft, extremely polarizing. And maybe we'll talk about it when we get a lot closer to the draft.
Yeah. Moving on, Layups for predictions before we're out of here. Last week, I had Houston over Baltimore in the first 5 innings. That game was really weird. I'm gonna put it as an NA because I never actually got the starting pitching matchup that I had in that game. So we'll go NA there.
I agree because I saw technically the replayed game was the one they went up 10-0.
Yeah, I'll hold it off.
Okay.
For now. You had Orlando finishing off Detroit.
Oh man.
We'll move on from that. That goes red. This week, San Diego versus the Giants tomorrow. There is no over line yet. It's either going to be 8.5 or 7.5. It's Matt Waldron versus Adrian Hauser. 2 pitchers that have not been good this year, which makes me want to say the line's going to be 8.5, but the offense is being so bad makes me want to say it's going to be 7.5. Regardless, it's the day game in the Bay. Not going to be terrible weather either. So I'll go over 7.5 or 8.5 in that game tomorrow.
For my layup, I'm going with a Friday afternoon game in Toronto, Canada. I got Toronto over the Angels. That one's Reed Detmers, who hasn't been bad, turning back into a starter, but it's against Dylan Cease. And when I watch the Angels, this lineup is completely ice cold outside of Mike Trout. Zach Neto and Joe Waddell have been unwatchable these last couple weeks, which is good for the A's fans, but as a team that wants a close competitive race, everyone playing well, not good for them. I think Toronto is almost back.
Last week, bowl predictions. I had Arizona over Milwaukee on Thursday. I think that was even the Brandon Woodruff through 85 miles per hour fastball game. But Milwaukee still won. So that goes red. Skyler had St. Louis over the Dodgers on Friday. That goes green. Good.
Is that a feeling, man?
Series for Cardinals. This week, I have Atlanta over Seattle. Tomorrow, this is Grant Holmes versus Brian Wu, which would make you want to say, okay, Seattle's probably going to be slightly favored here. Brian Wu struggled these past couple of games, not really getting any Ks. Atlanta is not a team that you want to be struggling against. So give me the Braves to beat the Mariners tomorrow.
I'm going with a very similar strategy here from my St. Louis pick. I think that Boston is bound to turn this around at some point. And why not do it when Ranger Suarez is on the mound? I got Boston beating Tampa Bay at home on Friday afternoon. Steven Matz goes for Tampa, but Ranger Suarez coming off of a ridiculous outing. I think 2 of them back-to-back. He had the 8 innings, 1 hit, I believe, last week. So say Boston gets the dub on Friday, even though Tampa's on fire.
That's going to do it for episode 291. Nothing crazy this week. Next week, I don't know. I don't know what we'll do. Predicting the whole NFL schedule. I don't know.
Man, we're getting
NHL mock draft.
NHL mock draft, man. Yeah.
I don't
know. We do have some closing remarks today, though. We have an original founding member of Immaculate Sports, Mr. Brett Shavi, has sent us some logos. He was bored, wanted to retouch. He said maybe the one he did originally for us, even though it was great, he says he has surpassed that that level of designing and wanted to make us some new stuff. So maybe the next time you go on the Twitter or the YouTube, you see a new logo. So shout out to Brett.
Yeah, shout out. That was the black logo is very cool. So maybe you'll see that on the Twitter. Or maybe you've already seen it. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the future. Yes. But yeah, next week we'll figure it out when we get there. Until then, hopefully the A's are still on first place. Hopefully the NBA series are all 2-2, just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Rangers and the Mariners lose every single game that they play. I don't know, anything else?
Dude, Brandon Sorsby.
Oh, yeah.
How about that? Maybe going into the supplemental draft in a couple of months? That's ridiculous. Texas Tech was bound to have a crazy season again.
Now they're just back to being Texas Tech. They need Dallas Braden.
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Let's go, A's. See you next week.